Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me as I share with you my upcoming 6 weeks of advocacy and self-care masterclass. I want to share a little bit more with you about what the class is and how it works. So I am Amy Zellmer. I'm an author, speaker, advocate, and a TBI survivor. Many of you probably know me from Amy's TBI tribe that I began in 2015. So welcome. I'm really happy to have you here to share this information with you. So I have started a 6-week masterclass on self-advocacy and it is a 6-week course, and the next one kicks off April 21st through May 26th. And over those 6 weeks, we will do a deep dive into self-exploration, self-care, self-advocacy, and so much more. This is for anyone interested in growing their advocacy and self-care skills, not just specifically the brain injury community. These skills can be applied across many forms of the advocacy platform, and we welcome everyone. I encourage survivors, caregivers, loved ones, anyone who is just interested in advocacy and self-care in any discipline. It doesn't have to be brain injury. So I hope you will consider joining us for this 6-week course. So who am I? Those of you that might not be familiar with who I am Amy Zellmer, as I said earlier, and I'm a TBI survivor from a fall on the ice in February of 2014. I slipped on our building's driveway, which had a pretty steep incline. And I had Pixie in my arm. You can see my little Pixie. She's a little Yorkie. You can see her in this picture. I was carrying her because she refused to walk because it was too cold out that morning. And I stepped on a patch of black ice, and my feet just went straight out from under me, and I landed full force on the back of my skull. My injuries included a severe concussion, major whiplash, a dislocated sternum, and I tore a bunch of muscles in my neck, shoulders, and throat and thoracic area. I had a lot of the classic symptoms, but these are some of the main ones that stuck around for quite a long time. I had apathy, overstimulation really bothered me, light sensitivity, cranial nerve damage. The whole left hemisphere of my head was numb for over a year, about 18 months. I had aphasia. I had ice pick headaches. It constantly felt like somebody was stabbing me at the impact point on the back of my head. I had short-term memory problems. I couldn't remember anything. I had a lot of eye and vision problems. I later learned that it was eye tracking issues as well as nystagmus and square jerk motion problems with my eyes. I had a lot of dizziness, the flat effect, which basically I didn't get excited, but I also didn't get angry. I couldn't read facial cues, body language. I was very, very flat. And all of that led to a lot of anxiety as well. So those were a lot of my major symptoms that I had. And I saw a lot of experts. I started with a chiropractor to help me with my whiplash and my dislocated sternum. He eventually sent me to the neurologist who did an MRI that, obviously came back clear, as many do, which is good. It didn't show a brain bleed or significant damage. However, I was just told, well, there's nothing we can do for you. Just give it more time. I went to the neuro-ophthalmologist who told me my eyes were fine. My acuity was fine. I just had to give it more time. I just had post-concussion syndrome. I saw the neuropsychologist who told me maybe I had been faking it, that I scored worse than a dementia patient on short-term memory. And she wanted to put me on Ritalin, antidepressants, and sleeping pills. which I refused. I did not take them. I intuitively knew that they weren't going to help my brain injury. I saw the craniosacral therapist. They were the first person who actually did anything to help me. I saw them several times a week for, I believe, 12 weeks. And it's very, very light touch, and they're manipulating your skull back into place. He explained to me the force of my impact kind of jarred my skull and took it out of alignment. And you could actually see a ridge right up here on my forehead where it had like pushed out. And he was able to get it all back into place. And he explained to me that the what was happening is the what I described as brain fog inside my head was actually the pressure, because the skull plates should just, they should line up, but mine were overlapping. And so that was putting all this extra pressure on my brain. And then finally, 2.5 years into my journey, I found functional neurology. I found Dr. Jeremy Schmo at the Functional Neurology Center here in Minnesota. And without him, I don't know where I would be today. Functional neurology is very different from traditional neurology. They look at the entire body and how everything is working together. And they did a lot of work with my eyes to help them get working together again, which then got rid of a lot of my dizziness and my balance issues. And eventually over time, all my other symptoms really started to diminish. And within about a year of working with him, I felt pretty much back to normal, not 100%, but I'd say I was at 80-90% functioning, which was, way better than the 10% I had been functioning at. So advocacy and awareness, I have done a lot in my 6 years. I have published 2 books, which are on the left, Life with Traumatic Brain Injury, Finding the Road Back to Normal, and Embracing the Journey, Moving Forward After Brain Injury. And both of those books are a collection of my articles that I had written on the Huffington Post. So my Huffington Post articles got me a lot of traction. They got me a lot of viewership. And that is what pushed me to create Amy's TBI Tribe on Facebook. We have over 9,000 members now in our community. And it's just a safe place for people to hang out and inspire one another and share resources. I began my journey by going out to Washington, D.C. at least once a year. I usually go twice a year to advocate for brain injury awareness to our legislators. And this past March, just a month ago, I guess, I was able to get my congresswoman to join the Congressional Brain Injury Task Force. So that was very exciting for me. Then on the top there, the Brain Health Magazine, that just launched this past year, and that is a free digital magazine that you can get online at thebrainhealthmagazine.com. We also have a print subscription for the U.S. members. So far, we are only shipping within the U.S., but anyone, anywhere can subscribe for the online digital version. Then the top right picture is just me meeting with one of my senators at the nation's capital. Then on the bottom, I have a podcast series, Faces of TBI. You can find that on any of the streaming platforms, such as Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. You can just search for Faces of TBI and subscribe. And then the Brain Health Online Summit, which just wrapped up. That was the entire month of March. But you can still sign up at thebrainhealthonlinesummit.com. And we are replaying last year's, the 2019 summit. We are replaying that for free right now. Since everyone is stuck at home, we thought we would give you something to keep you entertained. So there's 20 hours of education. And then Not Invisible is my awareness campaign, putting a face on brain injury. I did have to cancel a bunch of my Not Invisible events that were coming up, but I know that those will all get rescheduled sometime here in the future, and I am looking forward to traveling out to the Pacific Northwest again. All right, so the 6-week masterclass, how does it work? So each Tuesday, we will have a 90-minute group Zoom meeting, and you may participate as much or as little as you would like in these meetings. And they're also recorded, so if you're not able to be in the live class, you can always access all of the recordings later. And then we will have amazing guest lecturers throughout the course who will help us go even deeper into our personal exploration to answer the question, what's next for me? And you will receive weekly handouts as well as audio recordings from me to set you up for our weekly meeting. You will usually get those on Sunday so that you have time to listen to them before our class on Tuesday. And at the end of the program, you also will get a one-on-one 30-minute coaching call with me to send you off on your own path of advocacy and self-care. So you guys, that one-on-one call with me is worth the value of that is the value of the entire class. So I do just want to point that out, that that 30-minute coaching call is pretty valuable. So that you receive at the end of our 6-week class. But the purpose of this course is to set you up for success as an advocate and make sure you understand the importance of self-care throughout the entire journey. So this is how the class schedule is laid out. So it'll be Tuesdays from 10:30 to 12 Central. So that's 8:30 a.m. Pacific or 11:30 a.m. Eastern. If you are in another time zone, you'll want to go to Google to figure out what time that would be for you if you're possibly in another country. But week 1, we will discuss goals and intentions, and we'll dig pretty deep into those. That's a really fun one. I like to start with that one because that kind of sets you up for success for the rest of the 6 weeks. Week 2, we go into yoga and meditation. That really hits on the self-care portion. Week 3, we talk about crafting your story. Your story, if you want to be an advocate, you have to have a story. And you have to have it well rehearsed so that you can rattle it off at the drop of a hat. So that's a really important class for advocacy. Week 4, we talk about journaling, writing, and publishing. The most common thing I hear from survivors is that they want to share their story in the written form. A lot of people want to write a book or start a blog or maybe even a video blog. So class 4 is a really fun one. I have a great guest speaker lined up for that. Class 5, essential oils and healthy living. So that's a really fun class as well. I think I will have a guest speaker for that one also. And that's, of course, part of our self-care routine. And then 6 is routines and scheduling. And, after a brain injury in particular, it's very important to have a routine and a schedule. So that's another really important class. So those are the 6 pillars of the course. And just some testimonials you guys can take a look at. But the first class I did last winter, we did it over December and January over the holiday, and it was spectacular. We had 30 people in the class, and there's also a private Facebook private Facebook group just for the class, so you guys can really go a little bit deeper in that group as well. But I didn't know when I would be holding this class again because I had a lot of traveling planned. And now that a lot of those plans have been canceled, I thought this would be the perfect time to do another class and give everybody a little bit something else to focus on right now. So what is included in the class? So we already talked about the weekly Zoom meetings, and like I said, they are recorded. So don't worry if you can't make each of the classes. You will get the recording. You also get weekly handouts and recordings from me. So as I said, on Sunday, you should receive your homework, so to speak, and that will set you up for success for our Tuesday class. We have a private Facebook group for us to interact between our meetings, and there's also an alumni Facebook group that everyone moves into after we finish the 6-week program. You get your one-on-one coaching call with me after the program's completed. And like I said, that alone, the value of that alone is the cost of the whole class, you guys. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And then we have guest lecturers throughout the course. And, I usually throw in some surprises. So all right, so what does a class cost? Well, early bird pricing is $75. And you guys, like I said, that one-on-one call with me alone is worth $75. So you get the whole 6 weeks, you get all the recordings and the homework, and all the great experience that goes with it, plus that one-on-one call at the end of class. And if you register after April 15th, the price goes up to $149. And if you have already taken the class before, if you are one of my alumni, you can retake it for just $25, you guys. So that's a really great deal. I just wanted to throw that out there because I know some of you really, really enjoyed it. And while it'll be the same class, it has the same skeleton, it'll be different. Every time we do this, it's going to be a little bit different. But I thought it's just a really great way for you guys to stay connected with one another, as well as with me, and take advantage of getting that one-on-one coaching call again as well. So for you guys, $25, that's a really great deal. So if you guys are ready to get registered, you can go to facesoftbi.com/6weeks. You can also head to the Brain Health Magazine site as well. It's also on there, but you can get registered. There is a PayPal link, and I will point out you don't have to have PayPal. So underneath where it says log into your PayPal account, underneath that it says pay with credit card. So you can do it either way. You can either log into your PayPal account if you have one, or you can just pay with a credit card. It's really that simple. You don't have to sign up for a PayPal account. So anyway, you guys, I really hope you will consider joining me for the 6-week program. It's a lot of fun. We had a great time in our last class. We had really awesome guest lecturers, and I know we'll have a couple really awesome ones again this time. And I just love getting all the interaction with everyone in class. The first 60 minutes is basically the lecture, and then we open it up for 30 minutes of Q&A, and everyone can just kind of hang out. And then you can hang out in that Facebook group in between classes as well, and share your successes or where you might be struggling. You can ask for help. But this is a great program, and I really look forward to having you all. And I will see you guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the class. So thanks for watching. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this little mini webinar, this info webinar. And I hope to see you in class. Thanks everyone. Have a great night.